stuff I like. I got to tell you about a book I read, a novel I read called Submission. And Submission came out in 2015. It's the third novel I've read by the French writer whose name for an American is unpronounceable and unspellable. His name is Michel, and I pronounce it Houellebecq, but when I hear it, it's pronounced Houellebecq or something. He's a French guy. Who knows? It's Michel. So I'm going to call him Houellebecq because that's the only way I know how to pronounce it. And almost every book he writes is the same, and it always is. This book came out on the day, it was released on the day of the Charlie Hebdo killings. Remember, the Muslims went in and killed Charlie Hebdo, like 12 guys in the Charlie Hebdo magazine because they were making fun of Muhammad and making fun of Muslims. And this book came out on that day, and of course it created a firestorm, became an instantaneous bestseller. Houellebecq writes the same book over and over again, which is about dissolute Frenchmen being dissolute, sleeping with everyone they can sleep with, getting drunk with everybody, more sex, and then Muslims start killing people. This one, though, is a little bit different, or at least he has mastered the form. This is a book about the political takeover of France by an Islamic candidate. So no laws are broken, there's no violence, nothing happens. It is just an election, because they have those parliamentary things where people have to form parties, and it's just an election where an Islamic candidate winds up running France. And what is so devastating about this book is how realistic it is. And it's a literary novel. I read it in translation. I can't read French, but I read it in translation. It's a literary novel, so it's not an easy read. It's not a mystery story or something like this. It is incredibly deep. It has an incredible bite of reality to it. And to watch this guy in his empty Western world, without faith, he can't believe in the Christian belief anymore. He's immersed in literature, but it's kind of an empty immersion because he's not finding anything spiritual there. His relationships with women are purely sexual. It really hardly matters whether he's sleeping with a prostitute or whether he's sleeping with a woman who loves him. It doesn't really matter to him. And Islam has, Houellebecq has called it the stupidest religion, but it has those elements of spirituality and respect for men and women, and men having their differences. It has those things, even if it has them in a sort of horrifying form. And so he's basically showing you that Islam is winning the argument, which is more horrific than they're winning through terrorism. He's basically showing that Islam, an oppressive, especially as it's practiced in this novel and as we've seen it practiced in many places, is an oppressive, anti-female, anti-gay, anti-human religion. And yet, because it has the spirit in it, because it has some connection to God, it somehow has more emotive power and more conviction than anything the West has got left. And it's a terrifying, terrifying novel. Submission by Michel Houellebecq. I will spell it because I can't pronounce it. Houellebecq. It really is a brilliant novel.